how to have or how to build a winning mindset. This is one of the keys for losing weight, building a business, being happier, basically achieving any goal, and basically avoiding what most people do, which is they set the goal, or at least those that do set the goal, they stop at some point and never achieve it. So what is that winning mindset that's going to allow you to keep going until you crush the goals? That's what we cover in this video. But before we go there, please click the subscribe button below, because on this channel, you're going to learn how to build a strong, healthy, high-performing body as a successful entrepreneur without all the crap like starvation, cardio, cutting out carbs, doing all these stupid fad diets. On this channel, you're gonna learn how to do it right and how to do it once, and then keep that weight off and stay in that shape forever. So smash that subscribe button and let's go. What's up, everyone? This is Coach Amir from sevenfigurebody.com, and in today's video, we're gonna talk about the winning mindset. Okay, how to have a winning mindset. Everybody knows in this, at least our entrepreneurial community, everybody says mindset is the most important. And I agree, but what does that actually mean? Like, what does it mean the mindset is really important? Do I need to have the mantras and like positive thinking and all these? Well, the first thing, like more practically, what you can do, I'm gonna give you an example of what not to do. Remember, Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, they always say, invert, invert, always invert. So basically they say a great way to figure out how to do something is first figure out what not to do. So if you say, I wanna lose weight, okay, ask yourself, what would I do if I wanted to gain 100 pounds of fat and become obese? What would I do? Okay, then don't do that, right? Basically looking out, backwards, and you say, okay, invert. Like, okay, if I want to build $1 million a year business, what would I do to make sure that I never have any business and I don't have any growth? I basically destroy the business and go bankrupt. What is it? And you figure out these things. Okay, now let's do opposite of that. Okay, so in that, on that same line of thinking, let's first talk about what not to do mindset-wise. And I'm going to give you a real example, which I've seen hundreds and thousands of times probably in the last 15 years of being a coach. And here's what it is. It is short-term thinking. Okay, think short-term. So just a couple of days ago, and this is actually what reminded me to talk about this topic, because it's truly just like, I can't believe how prevalent it is still within the entrepreneurial community. And that is, can I have abs in the next month? Like, can I get shredded by next Monday? And here's the thing, this is not a judgment against anybody who thinks that. Here's why. Guys, please, we are as humans wired, our brains are wired to think short term. They're not wired to think long term. So if you look at, for example, our ancestors, they lived in the jungle. So we were born and raised and how would I say, made to live in the jungle, like out there in the woods, right? So if you think about it, there's no food, there's no security, there's no, like, you don't know if you're gonna be alive 3 months from now, not to say 3 years or 30 years from now. So basically our brain is like, if you find food, eat all of it right now. Like if you find, any pleasure or anything that you see or deem as good, like do as much of it as you can this moment, because it's a pure survival instinct. Right? So that's why, by the way, everybody's broke, everybody spends more than they make, everybody's overweight, because we want the cookie now and we don't care what happens to our health, 3 years from now, 30 years from now. Basically, our brains are wired to just think very, very, very short term. I'm talking, our brains are like week, 2, that's about it. I don't, like 3 months, 3 years, dude, I can't even like fathom what 3 years is. And that's why people don't say, like, we all do this to a certain degree, right? So let me give an example of what I've seen thousands of times so far as a coach. Somebody reaches out and says, hey coach, great to connect. I've been referred to you by XYZ, usually one of my clients who got transformed. And they say, okay, so, I'm like, okay, so first, send me a picture so I can see what your fat percentage is. And let's say a guy sends a picture, which happened just a couple of days ago, 25% body fat. Okay, so I'm like, 25%, what do you want? He's like, I want to be shredded, have abs. Okay, we got to get to 11 to 12% body fat as a man. So 25 to, let's say 12, 13%. If a person is 200 pounds, that is 13 times 2, right? Which is 1% of 200. So we got to lose 25 pounds of fat. How long is that going to take? I basically made a lot of videos on this topic. How quickly can you lose body fat? Usually 1 to 2 pounds of body fat per week for most people when they just start out. And again, for really overweight ones, that higher, they're closer to that higher end, like 2. For most people, 1 to 1.5 pounds of actual body fat loss per week is really, really, really good. Okay. Now, if somebody has 25 pounds to lose, how many weeks is that? Well, we're talking 3 to 4, maybe 3 to 5 months at least. So to this individual, I said, okay, so we got to go from here to that. Okay, we're looking at somewhere probably closer to 4 months, maybe 4 to 5. It's going to be, a couple of diet breaks in there probably, but let's say 4 to 5 months, right? And again, what if I tell him it's 4 to 5 months, but we actually achieve it in 3 because he does more steps, he does the diet better, he works out more than we agreed. Awesome, like that's great. Like if we plan for 4 and you get shredded in 3 months, awesome. And this individual comes to 3 months? What? But I want abs by Christmas. And we're talking, about this like 5 weeks to Christmas. And I'm like, okay, so you want to lose 25 pounds of fat in 5 weeks? He's like, yeah, I thought you're a great coach. You're this guy who knows. I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to starve you to death so then you gain all the weight back right after that. I want you for this to be your last diet ever. You're going to be on this one time on this weight loss diet. We're going to get you shredded in 3 to 4 months. And then because of the things that we have done and the way we have done them, you will keep the weight off and be shredded for the rest of your life. Versus starve you to death, you still can't lose 25 pounds of fat in 5 weeks. It doesn't matter how much we starve you. And you're absolutely going to be hungry. You're going to binge eat. You're going to gain it all back. What's the point? Why would we do that? And this guy, alleged entrepreneur, says, I'm going to go with somebody else. By the way, I'm like, okay, good luck. That's awesome. Block. Right? Like I don't want people like that in my community. But basically, this is the guy, the same exact person who 3.5 years ago, I later remembered, we talked about the same thing. So this guy reached out 3.5 years ago and said, let's get shredded. I told him how long it's going to take. Back then, it was probably 4 to 5 months, or probably, I don't know what he was at the time, but probably same overweight. And now when we reconnected, I'm like, hey, 3.5 years ago, we talked about it. You said it was too short. So did you get shredded? Have you been shredded for the last 3.5 years? He says, no, I got sick and I was busy. So he's basically, guess what happened 3.5 years later? Nothing. He's either in the same or worse position than he was before. He's now 3.5 years older, yada, yada, right? So I'm like, okay, hopefully first time he learned. So this time, hopefully he's going to do it. Nope, too short or too long for him. He wants it in a shorter time frame. He's going to go with somebody else. I'm like, great, block, right? Because I don't want 3.5 years from now, and then he's 30% body fat, him saying, oh, now I used to want it in 5 weeks. Now I want it in 2 weeks. So this is an example of a mindset that is definitely one not to have. Opposite of that is the mindset to have, which is pretty much, if I, share with you what are the winning mindsets, at least from my perspective, there's probably 100 things we can do. If I was to put it basically, down to one, it would be long-term perspective. That's why since 2008, I've had this saying in my community, which I try to install in all of my clients' brain, like basically like install it like a software in a computer, which is, if we can't do this forever, let's not do it. That is it. And then probably a year or two ago when Hormozi became really popular, he started saying something like that. I'm like, that makes sense, totally. This has served me really, really well. This has served all my clients well, which is, if you are going into a diet, okay, you're going into whatever, any other thing that you want to do that is like a progress or some kind of goal achievement, ask yourself, can I do this forever? If the answer is no, I can't, then you're very, very, very unlikely to keep any results you get from that, whatever. So let's say you're going to do something for a month. You're going to starve yourself, do 5 hours of exercise a day. You're going to do 20,000 steps every day. You're going to do that for a month. What's going to happen? Yeah, you can lose a good amount of fat. Who knows? Maybe even 2 to 3 pounds per week. So maybe 10, 12, 13, 15 pounds of actual body fat per month, which is absolutely impossible to maintain. You will not maintain that. And just remember, Biggest Loser, these people lose an enormous amount of weight. And guess what? Study has been done on this, like actual scientific study that showed that every winner of all of these seasons of Biggest Loser gains all the way back and then some. Why? Because they're losing it too fast. And by the way, there is a phenomenal study called something biological, I don't know, but it's basically impetus for weight regain. Okay, why we regain the weight. Everybody should read this study. I'm gonna show it here. I'm gonna put the link for it in the description. Please check it out. In short, it's gonna tell you, if you lose weight too fast, you are very unlikely to keep it off. Okay, now of course there are some studies that show that initially when people are starting the diet, if they lose a little bit more initially, that's a good thing because it gives them that initial momentum to keep going. Yes, that's why I like to, between me and you, I like to put my clients on a little bigger deficit the first week or two because they get better results, meaning faster. And then they're like, yeah, I'm so motivated, I keep going because motivation equals progress, right? So, but then you have to slow it down a little and have a more normal, kind of more sustainable rate of fat loss going forward after the first week or 2 or 3. Okay, so if you think about it, like most people can be completely transformed in 3 to 4 months. The first 2 to 3, maybe 4 weeks, you can have a bigger deficit, certainly not that large, but a bigger deficit, and then you slow it down a little because now you have the momentum, you're not going, things are going good, you're looking good, you're feeling good. Okay, now we can actually decrease that deficit a little bit to, have a more sustainable rate of fat loss, like a pound, maybe pound and a half of actual body fat lost per week. So again, if there's one thing that I can suggest for winning mindset on how to lose weight, how to basically keep it off, how to achieve any goal, it's have a long-term perspective. The longer your time frame is, the higher chance of success you have. And also remember that consistency is absolutely key. And basically, you can't not win as long as you keep going in the right direction. Really, success comes down to not quitting. And is it easier to not quit if you are not hungry? Basically, the way I set up diets for my clients is they're never hungry. They don't have to do any cardio. They can eat anything they want at any time they want, and they don't have to cut carbs. They can enjoy all the foods that they want. Under those conditions, why would you quit? I ask my clients within a week or 2 of when we start working together, okay, so do you see yourself doing this for the next 10 years? They're like, okay, let me think. I'm never hungry. I can eat anything I want. I have no restrictions of food whatsoever. I can eat as many times or as few times as I want. Why would I not stay, on this and stick to it forever? I'm like, that's exactly right? So remember, staying on it and not quitting is the secret to success. But the way you set it up, especially when it comes to diet and how much exercise you do and all of this, it's got to be sustainable. That's what allows you to stick to it long enough to see, go through it long enough to see these results that we want. So anyways, please think longer term, unlike everybody else who's going to think shorter term. In the entrepreneur community, I always like to, put all entrepreneurs on a pedestal and think that they are smarter and we think better and we're long-term thinkers. A lot of times, unfortunately, we're only humans, but we can change this. I used to be a short-term thinker as exists. When I was a fat kid, I tried every fat diet that exists, literally from age 13 to 17 or 18. I was like, I need abs in a month. I need 30 pounds in a month. And I've done a lot of these, yo-yo. And eventually I'm like, okay, this doesn't work. Maybe I should try the other thing. So anyways, guys, hope this makes sense. Hope you liked this video and got some value out of it. If you did, please click the like button and share it as well. Also, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And if you like this video and like the way I approach things, you will absolutely love my book. This book is $25 on Amazon, the physical copy, this actual book. I'm gonna give it to you for free, digital version of this book. If you click the link in the description below this video, if you click on it, you will get a free video where I show you exactly A to Z, my full process on how you can lose 20 to 50 pounds or more of body fat, build lean muscle, and get in the best shape ever. I've done it with 1,200 clients, and it will absolutely work for you. And also, I'm gonna give you a free digital version of this book as well. So click that link in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.